So firstly, How I Met Your Mother. This is my favourite sitcom maybe ever. I have this really incredible sentimental attachment to this show. I watched it when I was 14, and I think that any media you consume when you're around the age of 14 just stays in your heart forever, so deeply ingrained. So for me, that is this show. I had just finished Friends, I think not long before, so this show quite easily filled the hole that was missing in terms of I need another sitcom to watch. My love for this show far surpassed my love of Friends. When I first started watching the show, I probably watched it front to back maybe 3 or 4 times. And then I didn't rewatch it for quite a while and picked up a few episodes again and realized, this is part of my soul. I remember this. These characters will live with me forever. Some of the jokes have aged better than others, but I think generally it's really funny, kind of whimsical humour. It's also really sad at some points, and it gets quite deep and gets you thinking about life. I have mixed opinions on the ending. Maybe I'll talk about that another time, but still, one of my favourite shows today. Every time I rewatch it, I get the urge to go and buy a yellow umbrella. Next up, we have Miranda. This show is also an integral part of my humour. There is simply a quote from this show for every occasion. It's probably the thing I quote most, actually, to be honest. So many stims come from this show. Whenever I think of the show, I think of my friends from boarding school. I think of being a young teenager and just giggling all the time and finding everything really funny. And actually, I found it more relatable as I've gotten older in a way. I thought it was relatable when I watched it, which is silly because I was 13, but actually now as an adult, I really relate to it. I think it's definitely one of the funniest shows that we as the UK have put out there. Next up, Fleabag. I think this is kind of the first dramedy show I watched, where you have this really kind of wicked sense of humour and then also incredibly sad, depressing, gut-wrenching storylines happening alongside it. I'm a big fan of the fourth wall break also. That's in Miranda and it's in this show as well. It's definitely one of my favourite tropes, and this show just does it in such a way that is so relatable, to the point where to Fleabag is a verb. That's how iconic the fourth wall breaking of this show is. And it's used in such an intelligent way. I feel like especially even more so in the second season. I really do love both seasons. I'm not just a rider for season 2. I really love the first season as well. Seeing her in this self-hating, reckless, chaotic spiral of doom in the first season, and then seeing her fall in love and all the woes that come with that in the second season. I think those two pairings just go together really well. This show is truly a masterpiece. I will never get sick of rewatching this show. Next up, obviously, Gilmore Girls. I mean, I have a shrine to it, so that's a lot. Obviously, there's the unique writing style. Amy Sherman Palladino's voice is truly something incredible. I've never watched a show that had me so intrigued by the way they use dialogue. The referential humour, it's kind of insane when you really think about it. And it creates a kind of fun game also to watch, because every time I go back and rewatch it, it's fun to see if there are references I now get which I didn't get before. Obviously, the aesthetic of it is beautiful. I don't really need to speak much on that. You all know. It's why we all flock to it literally on August 1st every year. I also think a really strong part of this show is it has such incredible depictions of family dynamics. I think it's really, really well written and relatable. Seeing how Rory grows up and her going through those last few years of teenagehood is just so, at times, painfully real. It's so well done. The relationship with her and her mum versus Lorelai and Emily is just, the writing is just so good. I think that's genuinely, as much as those other things in the show are great, I think how realistic those relationships are written is what holds the show together at its core and makes it so rewatchable. It also just really well captures that feeling of being sentimental and nostalgic for growing up and getting older, all those things. And then lastly, BoJack Horseman. I don't know enough people that have watched this show because I I want to talk about it all the time, but I don't know anyone I can talk about it with. This show truly changed my life, maybe for the worse, but like not. I feel like if you know, you know. I say this is probably the one show, if I could erase from my memory and watch from the start again, this would be the show. Because for me, it doesn't have rewatch value as much when you know. No! Oh. My camera just died, I think, so we'll come back to that. As I was saying, BoJack Horseman, another show that is, I guess, similar to Fleabag in that it's really hilarious but also equally devastating and depressing. Like, especially, I really do love the humour in this show. It's so silly. It's kind of got a bit of everything, really. Like, you've got kind of dark, edgy humour, but then you've also, on the flip side, got really just ridiculous, silly, whimsical humour. And it's I've like barely laughed like properly so much whilst watching this show. And the animation itself as well, all the little details make it so funny. Also kind of the fact how there are both humans and animals in the show and it's never explained why. It adds like a whole flavour to it. But then it's also incredibly devastating. And it deals with so many tough themes in a really, like, it's all really well done, honestly. It's got to be one of the best shows I've ever seen, and it really is surprising to me that I don't see people talking that much about it nowadays. If you haven't watched any of the shows that I've talked about today, I think this is the one I would scream at you the most to watch. I wrote in my notes, if you've ever hated yourself and you love sarcasm, watch this show. It will cure you and change your life. I think that, like, basically sums it up. I'm gonna go now. It's time to have a shower, pour a glass of wine, and watch Love Island. Happy Vida, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye. I sound like I'm getting a cold. Not loving that.